All right, welcome to this episode of Buckle Up Garage. Thank you so much for tuning in. I guess we'll get it out of the way. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and leave a comment and tell me how much you like it or how much you hate it. Today we are going to do an unboxing video. It is the middle of winter here in Wisconsin, and it is currently about 14 degrees outside, pretty cold. And as you know, I work out of just my regular 2.5 car residential garage. I don't have a heater. I guess I should say I didn't have a heater. I went out to one of my favorite places, and probably one of yours, Harbor Frieght. Picked up one of their Bauer portable heaters. It runs off of LP. And we're going to crack this thing open, and what better day to give it a shot than when it's 14 degrees out and see what it does out here in the garage. Let's get to it and see what this thing's all about. Okay, so here is what I picked up. This is the Bauer portable LP or propane forced air heater. This goes for about $100. You can sometimes find them on sale, just like Harbor Frieght has sales all the time. But it was $100 to me. It is rated to be 30,000 to 60,000 BTUs. Sure, some of you out there know what the measurement of BTU is, but that seems to be kind of the general range of the similar products like this that I saw. And again, it's got to be better than nothing. Now, the key word to that is propane. So you will need to get yourself one of these propane tank. I chose to get a 20-pounder. I believe you can run this off those small Coleman canister ones as well. But from what I'm seeing when I look online, you probably get about 10 hours of run time using a 20-pound tank, which, in the end, I think it's probably going to work out for me because I'm planning on using this probably quite a bit the next couple of months. It's not getting warm here anytime soon. And come summertime, I want to get myself one of those weed burners that runs off propane too to take care of my fence line, things like that. So this made more sense for me. Now, where can you get this? Pretty much every town has got a gas station that has a LP tank exchange program. When I looked into it, you could buy one of their full tanks to start getting on the program. Full tank ran like $65, and when you bring in that empty tank back and refill it, the refilled ones are about $25. I decided to go and buy my own and brand new empty one, which I got from, in my area, it's Menards. There's also like Home Depot. You can probably get them at Lowe's, probably local hardware stores. You buy an empty one. This one was $45, and then you find a place locally that will fill it for you. Where I went was area rental. Maybe you got an area rental in your area. I'm sure there's a few other nationwide companies or locals that will fill it for you, and it cost me like $22 to fill it. So in the end, buying it, filling it was probably about nearly the same cost, a little bit more than if I would have bought into the exchange program at my local gas station. I think the advantage is when you take it to get yours refilled, you're only paying for what it takes to fill your tank. So if you still got 2 or 3 pounds of propane in this thing, you're not paying for the full 20. You're paying for whatever it takes to fill your tank. I think that's probably the better way to go. At least it was for me. So let's jump into this and see what this thing's all about. And what I'm probably going to do is, once I get it hooked up, I understand it's not going to heat the garage up instantaneously. But I got some snow blowing to do, so I'll fire it up and I'll leave it running in here in the garage and see you know, what kind of temperature fluctuation that I've got. Now, key to that, and I'll probably repeat this somewhere down the line, it is propane, so obviously it's a lot safer for you than the old kerosene powered torpedo heaters that I used when I was a kid, where you know, ran it till your eyes burned in the garage and shut it off, opened the door till you could breathe again, and did that over and over again. But you still want a little ventilation. I believe I'm probably going to go out and get a monoxide tester, carbon monoxide, you know, warning thing to hang here in the garage, just to be safe. You know, make sure I don't, you know, kill myself out here in the garage. And also, when I had the roof done on the garage last year, I had to put a couple of attic vents in it. You know, just anticipating something like this, and you know, just maybe giving the garage a little bit more ventilation. So, gonna crack this open and see what it's all about. So in case you were curious, the part number on this thing is 19161. P like Paul dash B like, well, P like peanut, B like butter. That's kind of dumb, but that's your part number. 19161 peanut butter. All right. Now, if I remember correctly, this thing will need to, you know, for the electric fan on it, we'll need a place to plug in. And there should be a regulator and line or hose to hook up to the tank. First thing, got your instruction manual. I'm sure this is pretty straightforward. I believe there's a couple of different fan speeds on it. And yeah, there's all the warning stuff. You know, don't do it inside of a house. Don't do it inside of a tent, it looks like. Never inside a garage. Well, I think we're going to kind of disregard that part of it, because, you know, that's what we're looking to do anyway. It says early signs of carbon monoxide poisoning resemble the flu, with headaches, dizziness, or nausea. If you have these signs, this item may not be working properly. Get fresh air immediately. Do not use these items for space heating. Now, I'm not bringing it into the house and warming up the bedroom, I can tell you that. Just want to knock the chill off the garage. So, that being said, let's pull her out of here. The first thing I'm seeing, is kicking my ass, is the obligatory cheap little wrenchy tool thing to tighten this thing up. I've got my adjustables, so I can do it with that. Yep, and then here's the hose with the regulator. This. Cut it open at the top, but it's open at the bottom. Such is my life. Actually, a pretty good length of hose. It is a little stiff though. Insert your inappropriate jokes where you wish. So I get that. Garbage happens to be behind you guys. All right, pull this out of here. Yeah, see, I learned pretty quick. I was going to cut that open, but I don't need to because it's open on one end. This is just a little small warning, little tag there. All right, so let me get you guys off the stand here. I'll get a little closer look at this. Okay, so here is a little bit of a close-up on it. Got a little protective piece of metal here, so you're not a complete knucklehead and shove your hand in there and burn your fingers off. On the control end of things. Alright, so this is the gas knob. This is, I'm guessing, a regulator to some sort to, you know, increase or decrease the amount of LP that you're sending to it, which I guess would then end up being a temperature control of some sort. Right here, with a little plastic cover on it, as it falls over, is where the LP hose attaches. Here's the power cord and ignition button, and this is going to be our high and low, I'm going to guess, on the fan speed. So pretty straightforward. There are instructions and warnings and all kinds of stuff all over this thing, because people are stupid, and I include myself in that, and tend to hurt themselves or kill others unintentionally. So we get the operation instructions on the side. What's this on the front? Oh, this is must be a height adjustment knob, I believe. Yep. Got this little stand that slides out the front, so you can kind of point it a little higher or a little lower. I think that will come in handy, because I was thinking that I might want to make kind of a portable stand that's going to hold the tank and the heater, you know, maybe on, you know, like a dolly of some sort, so I can kind of move it around the garage a little easier, you know, everything be all self-contained. But there you have it. So let's get this thing hooked up and fire it up, get a little familiar with it, and see how it does, like I said, knocking the chill off the garage. Okay, so I've got it all hooked up. I did kind of test fire it here. I've moved the tank down to the floor, and I got the heater. Wow, I'm really doing a crappy job with this camera. I got the heater on this banquet table. What I'm going to do is I am going to fire this thing up. I'm going to leave the door a little, the man door, or woman, doesn't matter, whoever, person door that is coming into the garage. You'll leave that cracked open just so there's a little ventilation, and I'm going to let this thing run while I take care of the snow blowing and things like that out in the driveway, and see how it brings the temperature up in here. So you can see, I can see my breath, and let me get my little thermal dealie here. Right now, shooting at the table. Got about 30 degrees on the table. See what the concrete does. Oh, concrete's actually a little warmer, 33. Like I said, it's about 14 degrees outside. Oh, this garage is a mess. I don't know, shoot the jack. Yeah, so it's about 30 degrees in the garage. So let me go do the snow blowing and things like that. I think that might take me a half hour, 45 minutes. And see what this thing does, how much it brings the temperature up. All right, to fire this thing up and get it going, first thing you need to do, after you've secured the fitting for the regulator at the tank and secured it here at the back of the heater, crack the valve open on the tank all the way. Around here, I've got this turned to max. Boom, boom, boom. Turn it on. Oh, this is really stiff. And this takes kind of two hands. You can hear the fan come on, but there's the gas switch here on this side. You can hear the gas start to blow. And then you have to hit the ignition button on this side, which I can't do with two hands. So I'm going to set you down for a second. Actually, I think I can prop this up so you can see it. Hang tight. down the belly of the beast. All right, we're gonna let that cook for a while and see what we come back to. So is there anything more satisfying than a freshly snow-blown driveway? I swear to God, someday when I am a retired old guy, I am going to be the maniac with the straightest lawn cut lines and the straightest snowblow lines. I just don't have the time these days. But we're going to head back in the garage. Yeah, look at that, Wisconsin winter wonderland. Eat your heart out, people down in the south. This is fantastic. So I'm going to head in the garage. It has been about 45 minutes. You can definitely, yeah, it's definitely warmer in here than it was, for sure. Like I said, you can see I kind of left it up on the table, you know, and I don't know, maybe being on the floor would be better. You know, heat rises, you know, you get the heat low, so it kind of comes up into the place. But I have got my thermal tester thingy bobber. Let's see where we're at. I guess we'll start on the table. It's up about 10 degrees. We'll go like somewhere up towards the ceiling. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the heat's going up. It's like 60, 63, 64 degrees. I'll back over on this side. Yeah, well, definitely the closer you are to the heater, the more heat you got. That just makes sense. Check that box. Yeah, it's, you know, still 30 or so right there. Just out of curiosity, right in the belly of the beast. Yeah, that thing puts out quite a bit of heat. It's shooting the base of the heater. We're at the table right in front of it. Yeah, so it puts out a decent amount of heat. I mean, it's definitely taking the edge off here. So I'm going to say this is probably worth the money, for me anyway. It's about as cold as it gets on average for me during the winter. You know, this, you know, 14, 15 degrees. We do go sub-zero sometimes. I think this would probably be a pretty good investment for you. You know, just to, you know, make things a little less miserable out in the garage during the winter. So we'll see how this goes. You know, once I'm actually out here working on something and using it versus just letting it sit static and cook along. But yeah, I think this is a good buy. So I do appreciate you tuning in. I know this probably wasn't the most exciting video, but you know, I had this sitting in the garage for about a week now, and I really wanted to try it out. What better, like I said, what better day to do it when it's like 14 degrees out and see what it can do, you know, cracking or chipping away at the temperature in the garage. So again, I appreciate you tuning in. If you hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, ding the notification bell, you know, all that stuff that you need to do. Don't cost you nothing, but it helps me out. So until the next episode, I do appreciate it. Again, as I've said, I'm Corey. This is Buckle Up Garage. Later.